The Democrats don't have a plan B yet. They need a plan B because it's not going to be Joe Biden. Joe Biden is already too old. It's starting to show, by the way. I mean, you can't help but I have been more hesitant than most in the conservative sphere on talk radio and television from pointing out the slips and the flubs and the ridiculousness. And I've done it some. And it's not to ridicule Joe Biden. It's to point out that Joe Biden is not the Joe Biden of just 4 years ago. There has clearly been a mental turn for Joe Biden, a mental and physical turn for Joe Biden. And it's just the reality. And the sooner people accept it, the sooner people realize there's got to be more moving on.
By outside pressure from autocrats, not to assert that any one of our democracies is perfect, investing in our own democracy, supporting our partners. We pursued a broad-based agenda, a true active consensus between Democrats and Republicans in our country. And soon, I hope to sign into law a bill we call the Build Back Better plan. Provide baselines for accessing the ballot box, and just evaporates confidence that the people much need to have in their government. And today I'm proud to launch the Presidential Initiative for Democratic Renewal, which will focus efforts across our diplomacy and foreign assistance programs to bolster democratic resilience and human rights and globally. We're going to launch new programs to help connect anti-corruption activities, empowering the LGBTQ community, working and work organizations. And we'll stand up to. We're going to stand up 2 rapid response cross-cutting initiatives and the Partnership for Democracy program. I'm so looking forward to a productive session and discussions that we'll have over the next 2 days.
Mr. President, thank you so much for kicking off the Summit for Democracy.
Yes, that was edited up. Yes, it was a montage. But yes, you get the point. He's mumbling, he's slurring, he's coughing, he's getting confused. The LGBTQL community plus community, they got a problem on their side. And unfortunately, a lot of people in the media who are so scared of a resurgence of Donald Trump, they don't want to talk about any of this. And part of the problem, you need to understand this, and it's a legitimate issue here. Part of the problem Democrats have is that by their use of the press to silence anyone who points this stuff out, they actually make the problem even worse. When you scream about it so much, it causes people to notice there's something not right there. And there is something not right there, and you could hear it. And what makes matters worse for the Democrats is 2 words: Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is a terrible politician. Peggy Noonan on Friday in the Wall Street Journal had a column about this, and she is being excoriated for what she said. And she said nothing out of turn. She said nothing wrong. She's being accused of racism and sexism. Peggy Noonan, for those of you who do not know, wrote Ronald Reagan's major speeches, including his speech about the Challenger disaster. If you've never heard Ronald Reagan's speeches about the Challenger disaster, it's actually a master class in public speaking. And she wrote that speech for him. She knows what she's talking about. She understands people. This is Noonan. I trace Harris's decline to when she went to Guatemala and Mexico in June for meetings on immigration. Near the end, in what should have been a highly prepared meeting with the press, she launched into a sort of mindless ramble in which she kept saying we have to find out the root causes of illegal immigration. She said it over and over. My trip was about addressing the root causes. The story that I heard and the interactions we had today reinforce the nature of these root causes. So the work that we have to do is the work of addressing the causes, the root causes. There is no one in America, including immigrants, who doesn't know the root causes of illegal immigration. They're coming for a better life. America has jobs, a social safety net, public sympathy for the underdog. Something good might happen to you here. Nothing good was going to happen at home. That's why immigrants are coming. Studying root causes is a way of saying you want to look busy without doing nothing. Her supporters grouse that she's criticized because she's a woman. They see sexist overtones and gender dynamics. This was echoed in this week's Washington Post piece. Her defenders say criticism is steeped in racism and sexism. She faces a double standard for women who are ambitious, powerful, or simply unafraid to appear strong in public. But she doesn't seem strong in public. She seems scattered and unprepared. Her real problem looks more like this. And this is what has Democrats fuming about Peggy Noonan. She writes this: Kamala Harris loves the politics of politics too much and not the meaning. When people meet with her, they come away saying that what she cares about is the politics of an issue, not the issue itself. But even as she's obsessed with the game of national politics, she's not so far particularly good at it. When she sought the Democratic presidential nomination in 2020, she spectacularly flamed out. And then there's this bit of wisdom. Kamala Harris came from a generation of California Democrats who never even had to meet a Republican. So great was their electoral dominance. It was too easy for them. She only had to speak Democrat, only had to know how they think and put together party coalitions. But half or more of the country is conservative or Republican. She never had to develop the broad political talents to talk to them too. Holy moly, she's right. She's absolutely right. Kamala Harris has never had to engage with Republicans. She's only been in the United States Senate since, 2017? So she doesn't know Washington. She doesn't have the experience. And she keeps screwing up. It's a real problem if you're a Democrat because Joe Biden can't run in 2024. He just can't. He's too old. And his successor is too incompetent, which means the Democrats will, after one presidential administration, will have to go into a free-for-all like Republicans. And the Republicans, meanwhile, are gravitating towards Ron DeSantis. You know, there's polling out that only 34% of Democrats want to have Joe Biden run again. What I think is the more notable data point is that only 60% of Republicans want Donald Trump to run again. Now, you're thinking, as many people in the press are, oh my gosh, 60%, that's strong. Except right after the election, it was 90%. So it's fallen 30 points. And we're still in 2021. We're still in 2021. We're only slightly more than a year removed from the election. In fact, the Electoral College hadn't even voted yet to elect the president last year, and he's down 30 points on should he run in 2024. We haven't gotten through the midterms. If Stacey Abrams gets elected in Georgia, Donald Trump's going to own a lot of that blame. That'll shift things. If Brian Kemp wins the Republican nomination, it makes him look a little weaker. That changes things. If Ron DeSantis has a banner year in 2022 running for re-election in Florida, and the Florida Republicans have a big boost, well, that kind of helps Ron DeSantis. And DeSantis wants to run in 2024. And so do a lot of other people. Events change things.